right, so Downswing, Dark Side of the Mind.
Yeah, Downswing is a hardcore band. Where are they from?
They're from Albany, New York. They describe themselves on their Bandcamp as East Coast Trash. And this EP is a little older, came out November 10th, but it's just one we've been wanting to listen to, and for a while. So let's start with the first song, which is...
Hell. Hell. Did you think this song should go to hell?
No, in fact, this is actually... I've never listened to hardcore before, crucify us, but this is actually really fun.
Yeah, I called well, first it starts out, they start playing the song, and then they stop and go, fuck! Do it again!
Yeah, it's got this very sort of like, oh, we messed up, oh, whatever, let's start over.
Lighthearted and fun, and I can, that makes me kind of imagine being at a show and seeing them oh, wait, we messed up, we're gonna start that one again.
Yeah, no, it's really fun. It
seems personal.
Yes, and it's got a lot of energy to it.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, the riff, I called dark skater punk.
Yeah, the whole thing, I guess this is what hardcore kind of is. It's kind of like hard pop punk. That's kind of what I thought about it as.
I guess. With metalcore influences?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's definitely, it's between the place of pop punk and metalcore. So it's hardcore.
Yeah.
Alright, but, so I say that this guy's scream, this guy's got, I don't know, he's 35 or something.
Yeah.
He's probably younger than that, but...
He's got a very young sounding voice.
Yes, his voice is very nubile.
Which is not bad, it kind of goes with the audience, I feel like.
But it does feel like it hurts his throat, I feel.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, it sounds like it, so I'm not gonna, personally judge his technique.
Oh, no, I'm sure
he might have good technique, he might not, I don't know.
It just sounds painful.
Yeah.
That being said, though, that's the verse. The verse of the song is very much so that,
And I was gonna say, along with his, talking about his voice still, even though it sounds kind of immature, it's got a lot of variety.
Oh, yeah.
He goes from, the more high kind of scream, and he talks sometimes, and he sings once.
We'll get to that.
He gets low.
But this song in particular, the chorus is the first time we see he goes and he has this sort of, it's a lower, it's more in the chest.
Yeah, it's the not quite guttural.
Yeah, it's just a low scream, and he does it really well. This sounds really smooth. His low is really nice.
No, and this section was kind of unexpected to me because it's got the lower scream and it's got some blast beats, and I'm like, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, no, it definitely shows that this band has a lot of variety, and I think calling them hardcore is almost pigeonholing them and keeping them from being something much bigger. Yeah,
because it seems like they could do a lot of different things.
Yes.
If they tried to. This, specifically this song, it's less than 2 minutes, and it has got a lot in it.
Yeah, there's so much movement. At about 1:15, there's this beginning of the light intro to the breakdown, and because this is core, it's got a breakdown, of course. Almost all the songs have breakdowns.
And I love as part of the breakdown, he goes, psych! At the end of it, and then goes into the next lyrics. Yeah, and it's because you thought the song was gonna end. Psych.
Yeah, and this outro is this hardcore breakdown, this and it's just really, it's heavy, but it's just really, you can tell it's the kind of breakdown you really want to dance to, and I really like that. It definitely got me with the sickness, some kind of dancing disease.
Disease. Did it make it come down with one?
No, I was not down with the sickness. Sorry, this song is really good. Once again, this is good. This is the second longest song on this EP. There's 5. The first one, Hell, was the shortest on this EP. Yeah. This one's the second longest, and it just starts right off.
Yeah, it almost feels like it's it just about cuts him off in the middle of the word.
Yeah, because he just starts rocking in very fast, and then it goes into the verse riff, and this is my favorite riff on the whole EP, because it's this sort of groovy, this very, very awesome, chuggy sort of riff that has so much weight to it that I really, really enjoy it.
Yeah, my only problem within the versey section of this song is that there's this one section where they just kind of sustain a chord and he's just yelling a bunch of words over it.
I mean, that's just the genre.
I guess they don't do that too often, though.
No, I agree. He definitely has a lot more sort of, I would call it melodic screaming, but in a punky way, where he's scream singing, but not singing. I don't know. It's hard to describe. You have to listen to it.
There's not a lot of melody going on, but different pitches of screams, basically.
The drums in this song were mixed incredibly trebly in the cymbals. There's lots of...
Yeah, oh yeah, this is the song where I was thinking, I'm there's just an overwhelming...
A very, very high... Because this...
Like a drum static.
This drummer is all over the either really small cymbals or loves his hat and his open hat. He's all over it in all of these songs. Like, definitely. This is the first one where it has like this sort of group chant, call and response in the chorus.
I like it.
I really like it. It was really fun.
Yeah, because that brings in a very punk vibe. Because if, like... Insofar as I know about punk music, like, it's, you know, you definitely feel together as a group and want to, like, shout along with the songs. And
oh, yeah. I guarantee this is the one that everyone in the crowd is singing along with them. But then at 2 minutes, the song kind of switches up and becomes a different song, I would say.
Yeah, it's got this, like, shorter instrumental section before he, like, goes into a low scream and it kind of, like, slows down a little bit.
Which is a quality a lot of these songs have, is that they're fast in the first half and then they slow down and add low screams in the second half.
Yeah, that is a pattern.
Yeah, but specifically this song, and in the second half, it gets this very, very driven riff, and it's this very sort of like rock drums. This sort of I was joking and said, "Oh, look, Lars is here."
Yeah, so I think also in this song, another like cool thing that happened was in the last time he says disease, it's layered with like low and high screams, which is really the first time it happens later in the album, but this is the first time that occurs, and then it goes into this breakdown.
Yes.
After that.
I was gonna say, like, I really felt like the low growls and the breakdown like really work together, and the outro is this breakdown.
And at halftime's the breakdown.
Yes, but that leads me to the one I call it sort of a criticism because I think it's just kind of weird. The song slows down and then it becomes this weird sort of like lead, or it just comes off with the guitarist doing a noodle at the end. Yeah,
it's not really like it's just kind of.
Yeah, it's just like it has no relation to the rest of the song. It's just. It feels like the guitarist...
the halftime breakdown underneath kind of is keeping it connected.
I don't know. I feel like it disconnected, but, you know, either way, we've talked about this song enough. I've had enough!
Have you had enough of this song?
Yes, no. It's pretty short. Only 2.5 minutes-ish.
Yeah.
So it starts off with unlike other songs, a rather, I would say, comparatively long intro.
Yeah, it doesn't start, the vocals aren't immediately like... Bleh.
Yeah, in fact, I would say there's comparatively to the rest of the song, a rather boring set of just, like, chordal strumming.
I kind of liked the riff. I said it was another dark skater punk riff. Yeah. Like, it's not quite as interesting as the riff from Hell, but I felt like it was a more interesting riff than we've seen.
It maintains the energy, absolutely. But like I said, the pre-chorus uses all kind of sort of atonal, like natural harmonic-y high sounds and so much more movement that I feel like the intro riff kind of is... It's kind of boring by comparison.
It's just more digestible and rockin', I feel like.
Yeah, I guess.
Than all those like harmonic things.
I guess that's true. I don't know. This song is really interesting. There's lots of weird stuff happening in this one, I feel.
I was gonna, just while we're still talking about the like verse and beginning part, when the vocals come in, I feel like they're very forward.
Yes.
They're way more forward than previously.
Well, I think on this whole EP, there's really
they are very forward.
A case overall, of it's recorded in a small room, very close to the mic, in like a corner, so that you're getting that sort of like really, really close sound.
Well, and just I think aiming for more clarity with whatever resources they had available.
Definitely getting it, and it's interesting because he does a lot of plosives. He has lots of hard S's, hard B's, hard P's in these songs.
Well,
and whoever mixed it did a good job of making those not have that really annoying sort of like sort of sound.
But I was going to say, because of like how much force he puts into his consonants across this whole EP, he's very understandable.
Yes, he's 100%
enunciating very well.
For being a sort of like punk hardcore sort of thing, he has a great deal of screamy enunciation,
which is good because that's a lot of people who do harsh vocals don't remember to keep their consonants
tight.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny. Speaking of tight, he has a habit throughout this whole album, this whole EP, and he does it in this song too, where he will make a word, like he'll be singing, and they'll make a word super short.
Well, what happens there is that he'll put more emphasis on the consonant than on the vowel. So, like, I forget which song it is, but he goes, no!
That's this song, I was about to say.
It is, yeah. So he, like, he'll hold on to the N for longer than the O of that word, and it makes it feel... It's a really cool thing, I think.
So about halfway through this song, it kind of slows down and goes away from that, except that sort of, like, maybe some natural harmonics, this sort of really movie thing, into this slow breakdown section where he starts with the sort of... No! And we make fun of it, even though
it sounds a little bit like a toddler going, no!
And because of the punkish sort of nature of it, it sounds kind of very sassy.
Yeah.
And then he says this thing where he just repeatedly says, no, 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 no. He says a bunch of times. But it's like you said, it's very unique. He definitely has his own way of singing this. And I think that's one of the big draws here, is they have a very unique...
Yeah. Well, and that section is a very good example of his, like, he says the word no like 6 times, but every time he says it in a different way.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting, the delivery here. And then, after this, the song slows down even more and adds it brings back that sort of low growl again. And that kind of carries it to the end.
And there's, like, it's kind of breakdown-y.
Yeah, like I said, I would say it's got more chugs, a little bit of that harmonic-y bit, and like whatever the lead guitarist is doing.
I felt like it was kind of just straightforward, because it was like a
yeah, no.
Like a lot of just same note chugs.
It's definitely not complicated, but like I said, this song is really interesting in the fact that it feels like it's progressively slowing down the whole thing until the end, until you've had enough, and all you want to do is immolate the whole thing.
Immolate, what'd you think?
I definitely didn't want to set myself on fire after listening to this. So,
I was gonna say, it starts off with these kind of like weird vocals, I guess, where it's
this electronic sort of thing.
Where it's like, it sounds like it's through like a megaphone that's through a radio filter that's just kind of...
Digitally distorted,
yeah. And it's like, well, you can't understand, I didn't understand the purpose of that. It's just intro noise, I guess.
This song is interesting. For being a sub 2-minute song, it has a very long intro, which is these big sort of slow doom metal-y chords. Dun, 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 and you're like, they do that, then they do they do the weird electronic voice section, and it's all their artistic style, it's their taste, it's whatever they want. It's certainly different than anything else in this EP, and I'll give it that. But then when we finally get into the verse, it has this awesome this awesome, fun, bouncy movement, and you're like, that's... And I guess these maybe are a fan of juxtaposition, but I really...
It seems like they are from all the variety we've seen so far.
And I feel like the sort of electronic vocal and the sort of slow intro is in contrast to this super, super fun riff. And the drummer is going so hard on that hat, and this means it's just like...
Yep.
The whole...
He's being a Mad Hatter.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And it's just awesome. And this song has so much energy in it.
But I feel like it's a little scatterbrained.
Yes, because then there's the middle section about 1 minute in.
Yeah, 1 minute in where they're singing.
Yeah, the only time on this album that there is singing.
It sounds like it's really far away and small.
It's because I think maybe he's used to more of his punk voice. Maybe he's just experimenting with the singing.
Yeah, I don't know of any... I haven't listened to any of their previous work. I don't know if singing is a common thing for them. I imagine it's not. This might be the first time he sings.
He was
I don't know.
Singing in key. Like, I can't say it was bad.
I feel like it didn't add a whole lot.
It added difference.
Yeah.
And just like everything in the song, I think the point is to add a new flavor.
True.
And it definitely did that. But the problem is that gentle singing is followed by like a really relatively simple breakdown, because it's just like dun, sort of thing. And then it fades out as this sort of just noise, this sort of thing. And for me, that was kind of a really weak ending for a song that tried out too many things at once.
I feel like the song was a lot of intro and then a lot of outro and then the best and a lot of bridge, and there was just like one verse, and that's where it really shone.
Yeah, I really, really, really dug that riff. The and
the vocals there I really liked, because he goes la da 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 la da da da.
No, this song is made of so many interesting parts that I can't help but really like it, even though I didn't like some of the parts because they were experimenting, and I really appreciated that.
To me, it feels kind of like a rough draft of ideas.
And well, that's what an EP is for, I would say. An EP is to try out your musical ideas and see what sticks.
It's true.
It definitely didn't leave me feeling bitter at all.
Bitter, how'd it go for you?
So Bitter is the longest song on this EP at 4 minutes long. And for an EP that's only like 13 and a half minutes, that's a huge...
sizable portion.
Yeah, it's a huge amount. And so, in that way, it's really interesting. Once again, this is another one that has a bunch of parts. And the bunch of parts are kind of interesting, and I don't know how well I think they work together. It's good. Bitter's a good song. But because of its 4 minute length for a band that, I guess, on average has about 2 minute length songs, it feels like a lot of ideas are stuffed in again. So the song intro starts with drums and guitars like matching. They're synced up.
And there's this kind of like, not feedbacky, but just kind of like sustained, the high pitched guitar noise.
Yeah, no, and it's really kind of it's really rocking, and it's really like oh this is gonna be good. This is a build up for something like really great.
And then the verse doesn't really. I feel like it doesn't follow from that build up per se. It kind of drops back down a little bit, which is fine because it's a verse. That's what they're supposed to do. Is kind of be the like lower energy in relation to the chorus.
It's where you tell the story of the song.
Yeah, and this verse, I kind of appreciated the drums in this verse because at first it's this groove like with partially using the tom, and it's like there's. You don't hear that a lot where there's just like tom hits in the verse groove.
It's interesting. There's this sort of...
And then, I was going to say, then it like steps up to like more snare in the second part of the verse. And
I was going to say, and then in this sort of pre-chorusy section, the drums have this like unique drum beat that sticks out so far forward. It's so forwardly mixed. Like, where he's just doing a drum riff and you're like, okay, I guess this is where the power is. And it's super forwardly mixed, and the chorus is made over a lot of just noise. There's a lot of that feedbacky sound, which is what they're going for. I'm not saying I don't understand that, but it's just this really noisy, really loud drums chorus that it's certainly got some oomph up under it. It's certainly got some speed. It's got some energy, but it's extremely weirdly mixed and very noisy. And that's why it was really strange when suddenly at a minute 25, it became a mini breakdown for a second. And I think that's because they needed to reset almost. Because the first part of the song is just a different thing than the rest of it.
Yeah, I can see that. I was going to say, like, this song actually has one of the longest, like, bridges of any of the songs. Where it kind of, like... I kept feeling like there should be more breakdowns in this song than there were, because he kept saying, like, these lines where it's like, ya-da-da-da! And you feel like it should be a...
That leaves me bitter, or I have a bitter soul, I have a bitter this.
Like, there's several times where he, like, shouts a phrase, and then it's like, oh, there's breakdown. No, I guess
Except
not.
At 125, that was a mini breakdown, and then at 2:10-ish, the riffs slowed down and had another sort of mini slower section when he said it, like, the first time, and the low growls come in, and it's this super sort of fun... It's got a very sort of bouncy energy to it. Even though it's slowed down, because the low growls are added, you're like... This is where the meat is. And I would say, like I said, from about 125 to about 3, when he says some, like, spoken words, where he's just like, fudge this bitterness or whatever. That's where, like, that's the long bridge you're talking about. And that's where I would say the meat of this song is in that middle section. Yeah. Because after, when he says the spoken words, that's when there's a really, really long bridge and outro that happen. And
this outro, I'm not a huge fan of, because it's just this repeated riff for, like, 30 seconds. Because it's not breakdowny enough.
It's not heavy at all.
It's not quite a heavy riff. And it lazy fade outs, which I dislike. I don't hate this lazy fade out. I just am neutral negative towards it, because the riff is kind of like a slow, like... Yeah, so it makes sense that you'd fade out on that riff, but I feel like for such an energetic EP and such an energetic band, I feel like it's weird to, like, slowly fade off.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I feel like this EP should not have ended with the soft breakdown, with the sort of... not a simple lead, because I'm sure that's hard, but a relatively unenergetic lead, I would say. And it feels weird for this whole album, especially a 4-minute song, to end so low energy, to fade away, when so far all these like things like immolate disease.
A lot of the previous songs have like started suddenly and ended suddenly, or ended not drawn out.
Yeah. So speaking of drawing things out, let's not draw this out anymore. Let's talk about the EP as a whole. So I liked this EP.
Yeah, I did too.
I was surprised.
I don't have a lot of experience with hardcore, but I like what they're doing here, which is just taking aspects from a lot of different genres and a lot of different, like, techniques. You know, like, they have the punk shouting, sort of just aggressive moments, and then they have breakdowns, and then there's just a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement in their riffs, and that's what I appreciate. There's clearly a lot of skill here at work, and that's what I like about this. Is that you can
throw in a guitar solo or two,
and they're not that way.
It's not the genre. Like, okay. I understand.
So, favorites and least favorites. My favorite was Hell. It just was.
That was my favorite too.
Yeah, so much energy. It starts with that restarty intro where it's like, we goofed up.
It's cute, and like the riff, I think, is my favorite riff on the album, and it's got a lot of. It's upbeat and
it has so much energy. It's just for that title and this EP being called The Dark Side of the Mind. It's just a feel good sort of song,
and it's very it's short and to the point. and gets a lot of ideas in that still go together within the 2 minutes.
Well, speaking of not having a lot of ideas, or having too many ideas in 2 minutes, I think the worst song, even though I love some parts of it, was Immolate.
Yeah. I 100% agree. The thing is, it's got good components.
It's the opposite side of the coin there. Mm-hmm. It's you have too many ideas, but they all gel, and you have too many ideas, and only some of them gel.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Granted, is Immolate still a good song and a total good use of 2 minutes? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
If I just have 2 minutes to kill, sure, why not?
Downswing does have, at least, I think, an older EP.
Do they have a whole album yet?
I don't know, honestly. But do you...
Downswing fans, tell us what previous stuff they have that we should listen to.
So would you listen to more Downswing?
Yeah, I'd give it a listen.
Yeah, I'd give it a listen. Would you recommend Downswing to anyone else?
Sure. I was actually, if you like punk or
yeah, we have some punky
metal,
friends who I would definitely recommend this to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beyond that, all I can say is, like, this is good. Like, I would rate this at a 6 or 7 out of 10. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's not trying to be anything that it's not. It's not it's not highfalutin, but it's also not lazy. It's right there, and sort of, we made a hardcore album EP.
Solid.
And this is an excellent representation of a band that I think can go places.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it seems like they have the skill and the ideas to be going somewhere.
Absolutely. So, in the end, everybody's a critic, including us. Bye-bye.